Welcome. Welcome back to the weekly YouTube live and the podcast. Hope it's been a good week for y'all since we last met. We had a holiday, a vacation in the middle of between here and last week. We had Labor Day. It was nice to have a day off and a short week. So back with us this week is Jay Bird from Georgia. If you've been watching some videos lately, he sent me some shells that he's been working on testing, and sent me some to get a different perspective. Obviously, we got two different guns, and so I've been working with them shells here lately. Well, how's it been, Jay?
Good. I'm ready for summertime to be over.
Me too, man. I am so glad for college football to be back on, man. I know. I'm honestly, I'm just glad that there ain't nothing political on, and I could just watch some football.
Yeah, no joke.
I mean, I that's what we were talking about, and I'm gonna pull it up on the screen here. Um, Man, it was a big shakeup in the football this weekend. I mean, look, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that on your phone, but if somebody's watching, if you're watching this, Florida State looked pitiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sad.
Yeah.
Now, Clemson didn't look too great neither. Now, I'm not going to beat up on the Clemson fans. And I know they were playing the number one Georgia team. I understand that, but they didn't look that great neither, though.
Dabo's catching enough right now. He don't need to get it from nobody else.
I mean, I'm 100% Gamecocks over here. My Shamecocks didn't look that great neither. I mean, I really thought my Gamecocks were fixing to do what Gamecocks do best. They go high, they go up, and be like, "Yeah, we fixing to win this," and then I don't know what happens, but we about lost that game. But man, Florida State, they dropped completely off. I mean, two losses in 2 weeks. They dropped off. Clemson went from number 10 to what, 25? I mean, they almost back down there to my Gamecocks.
Yeah, that's there was a lot of shifting over the weekend.
I mean, I know you from Georgia. Are you pulling for Georgia?
Without a doubt.
Well, it might be. I'm not sure when Carolina plays Georgia, but I mean, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Carolina's going to win. I just want us to do the best. How about that? Go on record and say, "Hey, I want Carolina to do the best." Oh, good. Oh, man. Well, I mean, is that a picture of your pet dog? I mean, that's better than anything, right?
Oh, the one that's in the house, she's a little bitty thing. She runs the
Oh,
house. She's a little
that's
bitty
terrible.
thing. And I've also got a Georgia book that my son got signed by Vince Dooley too. So
Uh, I'm not even going to talk no smack because I really don't think my Gamecocks are going to beat no Georgia this year. I mean, there's always a possibility there's a blowout, weird things happen, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the line. Also, I wanted to mention Thursday, September the 5th, tomorrow. If you are in Rock Hill, they call them North Catawba, which is part of like Leslie area of Rock Hill, York County. The North Catawba DU event is tomorrow. I wanted to put that out there. Adults Unlimited. See if I can make it bigger. DU Sportsman's Night Out. I know you got to buy a ticket. I think it's $125. I think it's what it is. You got 1 in 10 chances of winning. They're gonna have chicken wings. I know it's at a bar and it's kind of like draft, but it's got hops, 64 different taps. That's a pretty good chance of winning 1 in 10 odds. So if y'all don't have nothing to do tomorrow, or you a big DU supporter, and in or around Rock Hill, definitely check that out tomorrow. That is tomorrow, September the 5th at 6 p.m. So there you go. They have also on their Facebook, the auction is live now. You can go ahead and start bidding on some of that auction stuff. I'm not gonna lie to you, Jay. I looked at some of them. Not that my wife is gonna let me spend any money by any means, but they got some pretty nice trips on there. And you know, some of these people, they go on there just to buy the trips. I mean, 2 people, Cancun 4 nights, you know, starting bid $2,000. I'm sure that doesn't even include the plane ride, but all inclusive.
For $2,000, you can't beat that.
Nah. But way down here, get past the trips, and you can start getting into what we would really consider good stuff. You know, that Maxxis right there don't look too bad. I mean, I do like my Maxxis, and me and my Maxxis has got some issues that we have discussed plenty of times on this channel, but I still love the old girl. So
yeah, I got rid of mine last year.
Yeah, and that's what the the gun of the year is. That Maxxis 2.
That's a good looking gun too.
It sure is. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie. I mean, that's one of them that you really just need to put up or dove hunt with. I mean, that I would not want to take that waterfowl hunt by any means, but you can go ahead and bid on some of that stuff, and they got all kind of picture frames and stuff like that too. But it continues to go on. But that is open already. People can bid on that. So anybody in South Carolina, around Charlotte area, go check out North Catawba Ducks Unlimited and support them tomorrow. DU puts a lot of money back into the hobby that we truly enjoy.
Now, when you go to a chapter banquet like that or a meeting like that, they usually have pretty good stuff with rifles and stuff.
Right. And Peter just commented, I want to thank you on the video of your Maxxis 2. I was able to repair my spring full of gunk. Thank you to the video. My Maxxis 2 is working great for some doves with it. And I'm CA, so I'm assuming that's California. Dude, what time is it in California? 4 o'clock? Nah, about 5 o'clock. 3 hours. Hey, Jeff. But yeah, glad you liked that video, Peter. That was very interesting myself. My Maxxis spring was so filthy when I remember in that video when it shot out, man, I had grease all over my shirt, my arms. It was pretty disgusting. I ain't even gonna lie.
A lot of shotgun problems.
I may tell you the truth. I would be willing to say it's probably that dirty again. And it's just to be honest, I probably ain't going to clean it before the season starts either. So, man, I know you haven't seen it because you're not on Facebook, and I haven't posted the video, and I haven't told you about it. But I had a heck of an experience Sunday hunting. Sunday was the first day of goose season. I had an experience that I have never had in the woods. I saw it. Oh, did you? Yeah. Okay. Because it was on that video that I posted. That's right. You're right. I got chased by a skunk.
I saw that.
So I'm sitting in this chair behind this big old, I'm out in the cow pasture. It's a big gully that my wife's uncle done filled up with sticks. So I'm using it as a blind, really. And it's a great spot to goose hunt out of. I kill geese out there every year. And just something in the corner of my eye was moving, and I looked down, and that skunk was probably 3 feet from me. I took off running like a little girl. I am not going to lie. I am on camera, and if I have a hand on the Bible, this is what I sounded like. I was sounding like a little girl saying, "Go away, go away, go away," because all I could think about was that joker turning on me and spraying me. Because I told the wife, I said, I'm going to go hunting real quick. I'll be back for church. And them jokers can spray like 15 feet. And I know if I got sprayed, I wouldn't be able to go to church. I wouldn't be able to go to work the next week. All I could think of was, while I was running, was stop, stop, stop. I don't want to shoot you with my TSS. I didn't want to waste a $5 shot on that darn skunk. And then while I was running for my life, Pandemanium was chasing me. All I could think about is, if this joker don't stop chasing me, I am going to have to shoot it. And if I do have to shoot it, I know that stink is going to ruin my spot for like 2 weeks. Because a skunk gets hit on the side of the road and it stinks forever. I did not want that in my blind. And that joker stopped chasing me, ran back to my chair, and somewhere along the way, I don't know if it's like a rabbit. When a rabbit's running, they put that smell off. I don't know if he just stank that bad or if he just, I don't know what he did, but he did something on my bag. And when I put it in my truck, I didn't smell it originally. And boy, did it smell like cat pee when I got in there. I said, oh my goodness. It's still outside. And I hope it is aired out by this coming weekend. I'm just glad that it's geese season and not deer season, because whatever he didn't lift his tail up. I don't know if they just stink that bad. That joker left some kind of scent on my bag and ran into the woods. And as soon as he got far enough in them woods, I grabbed my gun, my chair, my bag, and I was out. So I'm hoping by Saturday he's gone or she's gone. I don't know nothing about no a skunk other than I didn't want to smell like it. That's all I know.
The only one I've ever seen, and I've never seen one in the woods. That's crazy to believe, but I hadn't. But when I was a teenager, I used to trap some back when you could make a little money off of trapping. And I caught one in a trap one time. And I ended up just shooting it, and I just left it for 3 or 4 days because I'm like you. I didn't know what would or wouldn't happen. So I figured the best thing to do was just leave it alone for a couple of days.
That's right. So Peter brought up in the discussion here, he's like his Max's is his favorite gun, and he has his second favorite is a A400. And we want to talk about the shell that I've been shooting that you sent me. I've been shooting it out of a A300, which I ordered it. They shipped it to my FLL dealer. I went and picked it up, and the day I picked it up, they announced that they now make a 20 gauge in a A400. I was so mad because I wanted a 400, but I wanted a 20 gauge. And I know if Matt was in here, he would tell me, that's a sub gauge, and I know that it's going to be people going to give me heck because I bought a sub gauge. But I was really thinking 20 gauge for my boy. That's really what it was. And my daughter. And we went hunting this weekend, dove hunting. We'll talk about that too. But That A300 is a smooth gun.
Yeah.
But I sure would have rather had it in an A400.
I come across one 2 years ago or 3 years ago that somebody was selling, and my boy, he wanted one. He loves them because it's a bigger, blockier gun than your Stogers or your Maxis and stuff like that, and your Benellis and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he likes, and he ended up getting it. And then I ended up coming across one last year when we went to Billfoot last year. I come across one in the gun store up there. Got a really good price. My cousin got it, and it was a really good price on that gun. We had to do some stuff to put it back like it's supposed to be, but he's been really good for that gun.
Jeff said Matt ain't here, but he's here. So I got a video this weekend. Peter, I'm gonna get back to your other question that you put up there. I'm not skipping over it. I have to chase my squirrels when I can. So I took 2 guns this weekend. This weekend was opening. Well, really ain't weekend. Monday. Monday was opening dove season. I took my boy with me, and I took the 20 gauge. I took my over and under 12 gauge, which is a TriStar. I've shown it on the channel before. I highly don't recommend a TriStar. They may be better now, but there are issues out of that. But 2 birds flew over. I shot. I popped the gun open, and it never shut back. So I kept working, and I never could get that gun till when a double barrel locks, you know, the little thumb, what makes it break down, it would never come back over. So my buddy who is sponsored on this channel, Flint Ridge hauling service, he was like, well, I'll just go to the house. I'm going to get something to eat. I'll bring another gun. Here, you shoot my 20 gauge. Well, I had 2 20s. So I gave the shorter one because my friend's pretty short. I gave the 20 gauge pump to my son, which would be more safer. And I'm shooting now the A300 20 gauge, and I recorded it all. And all I could think of was, dang, I got to eat them words that I've been saying for so long. I ain't hunting with no sub gauge. And here I am recording me hunting with a gosh doggone 20 gauge. And if my son doesn't get his first dove flying with a 20 gauge, he had the GoPro on his head. I got the video. I got to put it all together, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, it was a lucky shot because I'd be like, Noah, put your head down on the buttstock. It's down. And then, like, the videos of him shooting, that joker, he's just throwing up and shooting. And one of them about knocks him back in the chair. It's actually going to be a really funny video. It was really warm Monday, and then the rain came, so we didn't really get into the doves. But, I mean, he made an awesome shot. And there is video sometime that's going to show me shooting a sub gauge. So there you have it. There will be proof, but I felt like I was cheating on my 12 gauge. So I'm just going to put that out there. 12 gauge is the Lord's gauge. I'm just saying.
We all know you're going to switch over.
I ain't switching over no 20 gauge. So Peter's original question that I didn't skip over, well, I did skip, but he asked, what's your opinion of the Pattern Master chokes? And then says, I shoot the Code Black and Geese and the Anaconda from mid-range. I don't want to go on record to say how I feel about the Pattern Master, but if it was mine, I have one. I bought one. I bought the Code Black, and I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. I came home and I pattern tested it, and I said, man, that's the worst thing I ever seen in my life. and I quit using it. And then right after that, Surviving Duck Season, the guy, he's got a great series on YouTube, Surviving Duck Season. He shows the Pattern Master, and it is god awful terrible. And I've never used it ever since, and I never really thought about selling it because I didn't want the next person to have the luck that I had out of it. So, Peter, I'm not saying that Kicks is the best because Kicks is a sponsor of the show. Kicks, Comp and Choke, Carlson, all of them make really good choke tubes. I do not like the Pattern Master. Jay, have you shot a Pattern Master? Jay's going to stay quiet on that one.
Here's what I would say. There's a lot of manufacturers making good quality chokes. Some are better than others. But this is what I would say. And this will kind of sugarcoat it. Take your gun and shoot it and see what it does. If it works in your gun, shoot it. If it don't.
Exactly. And that's what my friend who is just getting into waterfowl, God help him, because he's either going to stick with it or he's going to financially be broke like the rest of us. But I gave him a handful of chokes. I gave him a handful of bismuth, steel, and I told him, I said, go pattern. What you mark what pattern it is and what choke. Whatever choke shoots the best with that pattern, that ammo, don't buy nothing else. Just stick with it. And Jay brings up a good thing. What may work for me may not work for you. And one time a couple months ago, we was talking to Keith from Salt Creek Ammo, and he was talking about you saying you're from California, where we're in the South. Temperature, humidity, and elevation makes a big difference in shotgunning. It may not make that big difference to me because I miss birds probably just as good as everybody else does. But these people that shoot competition like skeet and stuff, when they go from here to Colorado at different elevations, they're constantly changing and adjusting their guns because the pressure changes. Everything's different. Me personally, if you shooting Pattern Master and you liking it and you killing birds, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change unless something just worked out. Now, one thing that I can tell you, Peter, and we're going to get into this topic talking about some of them shells Jay's been making. Last year, I was shooting bismuth. I was shooting Salt Creek bismuth, and I tend to believe that some of Keith Salt Creek bismuth is some of the best on the market. His TSS is gosh doggone deadly. But this year, I have been loading my own TSS Steel Duplex. If you haven't watched that series of videos, go watch that. But if you're going from bismuth to steel or bismuth to TSS, 100% you have to change chokes. If you're shooting anything with TSS, you're probably definitely changing chokes. And if you went from shooting steel to TSS, you're definitely changing chokes. So
chokes more open.
Absolutely. If you're shooting TSS for waterfowl, you're going to be cylinder or improved cylinder, and that's going to be it. And it doesn't make sense that people turkey hunt with TSS and they're using mod, but they're trying to keep that baseball pattern. As waterfowlers, we want a spread, and TSS is so fast if you don't use a cylinder or improved cylinder, it's not going to open up fast enough. But TSS is a game changer. I mean, if you hadn't shot TSS, I highly recommend it. But if you do switch, you better consider pattern testing.
Oh yeah.
And that is what I wanted to talk about with Jay this week. He said, I heard all of them except Moeller, Church, and True Lot. I like Carlson. I had a Kicks bulge out 8400. Trusted them since they did replace them. Kicks is 100% behind their chokes. Carlson's 100% by their chokes. I hear Moeller's pretty good about their chokes. Never shot a True Lot, so I can't speak on them. I have a set of Moeller aluminum chokes that I had in that gun this weekend, and that's what I was saying with my buddy. I was like, the darn chokes in this TriStar is worth more than the TriStar. But you got to be careful with them aluminum chokes, because you can't go anything lower than, I think, 7.5, or you blow the choke out. And I'm talking about aluminum choke that don't weigh hardly more than this piece of cardboard. I mean, it is great.
Right.
Dude, you can put that aluminum Moeller in and you spin it like that, and it'll thread itself all the way down, because that's how light it is. Obviously, it's not made for waterfowl hunting at all, but I was shooting lead lows. Jeff said, I've been smashing teal with that Salt Creek Bismuth number 6. I'm telling you, I know Keith probably ain't in here today, and he'll probably go back and watch it. Watch this. Keith is a sponsor of the channel, and his logo's up there. And he goes back and forth on debating on his bismuth. He's trying to be competitive price-wise, but the problem is he's using top quality bismuth. He's not buying a knockoff. He's not cheating anything. You're paying for top quality. And Jay knows the exact same thing, because he's hand loading. I'm hand loading. When you're a hand loader, you're not really saving any money hand loading, but you're putting top grade quality at the same price as crappy shells. So, and Keith goes back and forth. He's like, man, I feel bad about, charging this price, but I'm not making anything. And I'm like, dude, I've been shooting a lot of bismuth, and yours patterns better than anything out on the market. So, and he's using top quality stuff. I mean, that's all it is. But you sent me, yeah, absolutely, you got to pay for it. And that's the way it is with the TSS. I'm not saying TSS is a every hunting experience. Would I go shoot TSS at divers? Absolutely not. I have shot a box of steel at one diver that would not die, and we chased it all the way around. We all been like that. A diver is one of the hardest ducks to kill. I wouldn't waste no TSS on them, though. But if you're going on special trips, like I'm going to Oklahoma, I'm sure not going to carry steel with me. I mean, you go to Reelfoot Lake a lot. You're going to take Walmart shells with you? No, you're going to take good stuff.
We always take business with us up there.
Right. I mean, some of these people, man, blow my mind. I'm going to go 1,000, maybe 1,000 miles, 1,500 miles round trip somewhere, and spend a couple $1,000 on lodging and hunting and shoot steel. And I'm like, what in the world? And I totally get it. In some places, like say the timber, when they're decoying into the timber, I completely understand it. But in South Carolina and Georgia, them birds are not decoying like you see on TV. They are passing shots. They have been shot By the time they get down to South Carolina, and by the time they leave South Carolina to get to Jay in Georgia, they had done been shot at 1,000,000 times. And know what? Absolutely. They done seen every decoy there is from Canada down to Michigan, down the Central Flyway. By the time they get to South Carolina, they tired and they want to get away from anything that looks like decoys.
Yeah.
And some people don't have experience with wood ducks. Them are fighter jets. I'm just telling you. So, Jay, you were working on a sub gauge 20 gauge, and you sent me some 20 gauges. So you sent me about 10 shells, and you held off. You held off about sending these shells to me until you got them pressure tested. So if you watched, not you, Jay, but if y'all watched my videos on my 12 gauge, I made the shell. I tested the shell. I got it somewhere where I thought it was. I started really low on pressure, where I knew it was going to be safe lows, and then I sent it off for pressure testing, and so did you. And y'all saw this throughout the video series. That cost $100. It was $75 for pressure testing, and then like $15, $20 to ship it. So by the time you do the $75 plus shipping and about, I don't know, $3.50 a shell, $3 a shell, you got about $100 in that out. So I stated this before. People like Keith, these hand loaders that are selling ammo and they're constantly testing and they're making their ammo better, they're putting in that sweat work. They're putting in this pressure testing. Every time they make a change to a shell or go from a 2 3/4 to a 3-inch, well, they sending it off to get pressure tested. Why? Because they ain't wanting to blow up somebody's barrel, so they got to pressure test it.
Yep.
And plus, you need to know what the velocity is, what the pressures are, and everything's totally different. So when I did my 12 gauge, I got my baseline, and then I started improving on it. And that's where I've got on my baseline. So you did the same steps. You wanted to do 20 gauge. And the reason was you wanted a sub gauge, you're getting a little bit older. So it makes sense.
Reflexes, lighter gun.
It is a lighter gun. 20 gauge is lighter. I have to tell you, one of the things that one thing that I don't like about Matt 16 gauge, 20 gauge. I don't even know what a 28 gauge is. I've shot 12 gauge so much. When I get them sub gauges in my hand, I feel like I'm over swinging them because they're a pound lighter. I mean, they are literally a pound lighter, and the foregrip's a little bit smaller. They're smaller gun. I feel like I need the weight because now I'm over swinging. And I'm sure if I shot 20 gauge more or sub gauge more, I would learn to correct myself. But my 12 gauge is almost close to 8 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, especially my skeet gun. It's a Winchester SX3, which is basically a Maxus. I mean, like original Maxus. I mean, they basically the same part, but it's wood, and it's got the extra weight on the front to help slow you down, and it gives you a little bit of balance. But I mean, when I pick that 20 gauge up, I mean, I feel like I'm swinging it around like a helicopter or something. But you sent your shells off, and you got the pressure test back on it. And I remember you getting it back, and you'd be like, man, the pressure test. And I'm like, remember, 20 gauge has more pressure than 12 gauge. And you would think that it wouldn't. But
Yeah.
20 gauge has more PSI than 12 gauge does. I don't know if the barrels are thicker. I don't know the reason why. That might be a Keith question. I don't know, but I know that PSI on the 20 gauge is higher.
Yeah.
Jeff said his 20 gauge over and under is 5, and it's got pounds. So I'm thinking that 5 pounds. Yeah, 5 pounds. Me going from an 8-pound gun to a 5-pound gun? No, sir. I will miss. I promise you, I'd miss.
Probably shoot way out in front of.
Oh, absolutely. But you know, one thing about heavy guns too, the heavier gun, the less kick it's supposed to have. I mean, if anybody ever picked up a Browning 10 gauge, that gun's like 42 pounds.
Yeah, it's a good thing it is.
I really think it's like 9 pounds something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's like 9 pounds.
Well over 8 pounds, right at 9, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like 9 or just a tad bit over 9. But yes, that gun is like holy moly. But so you sent me 10 shells. You sent me 5 TSS steel, and then you sent me some bismuth. Not this weekend, but the weekend before, I released a video on the TSS. It was number 9 TSS and number 4 steel. Was it number 4s?
Number 4 nickel plated.
Okay. How much steel was in it and how much TSS was in it? I know I did it for the video, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's got a 3/4 ounce TSS and a 1/4 ounce of steel in it.
Okay. So we were talking about TSS earlier. TSS is super fast, and you got to have like cylinder or improved cylinder to help open up the spread. One way to cut the cost of TSS is to do duplexes. And the duplex with steel, the steel helps the TSS open up. But if you watch my videos, it's a fine line of speed. I mean, literally, I went with a Mech-Bushen 18, shot it, went to a 19, shot it. It got better. Went to a 20. Oh my goodness, I think I hit the lottery. Went to a 21, and it completely went the other way in the garbage. And basically going from one bushing to the next bushing is like a half a grain or something. I mean, it's not like a massive amount of powder, but it is a thin line. So when somebody's reloading like me and you, it really makes me appreciate the guys like Keith at Salt Creek, all these other hand loaders who hand load and then sell the product. Because how many times did you walk up and down that hill to test that shell before you ever sent me anything?
Well, I cheat, so.
You ride the golf cart. I mean, that is true. That is a little lazy, man. I mean, I'm at least giving dedication to the channel. So when you watch me shoot them videos, you start the video and you see me and it's like, hey, welcome back to the channel. And by the end of the video, I got sweat running down here. It looks like I've been in a wet t-shirt contest and I'm huffing and puffing, sounding like a Peterbilt coming up that hill. So there's dedication.
Yeah. And yeah, I cheat. It's about 150 yards probably down to where I shoot at. And yeah, I don't walk it. I ain't gonna lie about it. Because it's downhill.
Man, I hate it when I'm at my truck where the camera sits, where the target goes down to, and I forget the paper. Or I get all the way down there and my staple gun runs out of staples. And I have to walk back up that hill. And I tell myself every single time, when you go down, carry some staples, and I forget every single time.
Yeah, ammo box and put it down there and leave it and put them in it.
You know, that's what you would think that. I mean, they're stainless staples. They're not going to rust. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just punishing myself. I need to exercise. You know, turkey season, every year I'm going to be like, I'm going to start walking and exercising before turkey season. I lie. It never happens. I sound like a big old Peterbilt diesel coming through them woods, huffing and puffing. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's when I do more walking than any other time during turkey season.
And it's all because of duck season.
Oh, yeah.
It's when I'm eating them honey buns and the Scooby snacks in the blind bag, and then turkey season's right behind it, it's because of duck season. If
Yeah,
not, it sounds... Man, yeah, I put on. I need to lose 20 pounds. But that's a different subject, different day. But there was a lot of work going into this shell. And when you doing a pattern testing with a shell, and you'll see it on the video, and that's why I usually make the videos, the TSS you sent me. I start with a mod. I shoot it at 30 yards, 40 yards in the video. And then I'll do improved cylinder, 30 and 40. So that's 4 shells. And then I'll try another choke. It is a lot of time. It is a lot of money. And that's why I do the videos. It gives a perspective of, hey, this is what you can expect. And you get to see it. Other people get to see it. Hey, I can promise you, this coming weekend, I already did your TSS. We're going to go over to the Bismuth this week. And Jesse, you sound like a buck snorting down, RD. You doggone right, boy. I mean, you seen the videos, Jeff. You seen that shirt be clean at the very beginning and look like the wife hit me with the sprinkler out there. But this weekend, I got some of your videos with the Bismuth, and I sent you a picture of it. And what did you say?
Not very happy.
Not very happy.
Not very happy
I'm still going to show it because, I mean, that is part of pattern testing. Yeah. And like you and I said at the beginning to Peter, you have a inertia gun. And you sent me pictures of that same shell in your gun, and it looks good. And then I put it in my A300.
We're also shooting completely different chokes.
That's right. Completely different. You shooting comping chokes, and I'm shooting kicks. Yours is not ported. Mine are ported.
So I've actually shot the Bismuth load twice. I shot it through ported and non-ported. Now with the non-ported choke, it didn't shoot good. But with my ported chokes, it shot modified ported choke. It shot 30 yards. It shot 96%.
That's pretty good.
At 40 yards, it was 84%.
That's really good.
I should have left well enough alone with that. Just left it alone. But we always got the 10.
That's what we told Peter. Find the shell, find the choke, leave it alone.
My TSS load and my Bismuth load shot exceptional through the ported choke. I shot, like I said, at 30 yards, I was at 96%. And at 40 yards, I was at 84%. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And with an improved cylinder, with my TSS steel load, I shot 93% through the ported choke and 87% at 40 through the ported choke. So I should have just left it alone. But I had to pick up a set of chokes for a guy that works with me, and went in, and lo and behold, I saw he had some non-ported chokes on the shelf. and couldn't stand it. Had to have them. So now I got to go back and I got to get me some porta chokes now. Because
I mean,
I hadn't shot the TSS with the non-porta because I gave out a paper. I got paper back in today, and I can actually shoot the improved cylinder with the TSS now because I've got paper because I ran out. But I don't think I'm gonna waste a shell because 93% and 87%, 30 and 40 yards. There's no need for me to mess with it. It works. Leave it alone.
and
And
you
that's
know,
what I should have done.
That's another reason why I make these videos too. They're great references for me to also come back and look at. I shoot so much ammo that I honestly don't remember. Like half the time I'll shoot one brand of ammo and I don't even remember how many pellets in it. But I could go back to my videos and look at them and say, hey, this brand's got this many pellets in there.
But I got on my phone.
Right. It is so great with technology these days with smartphones. I'm not using no expensive camera, y'all. I'm using an iPhone 14. Majority of the time, if I'm out in the yard shooting videos, it's the iPhone 14. Sometimes I use the GoPro when I'm hunting and stuff like that. But I mean, it's hard to beat that iPhone on video. But it is definitely something to play with. You know, when I was doing my 12 gauge, I had to decide, am I going to put the TSS on top or TSS on bottom? Completely changes the way it shoots. And you're doing something different with your 20 gauge than I'm not doing in my 12 gauge. You're putting stuff in the hole to take up some of the space, right?
Yeah.
I saw a bag of them earlier.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of bags and stuff laying on this desk.
So what are some of the components you're using?
So without giving the whole thing out, I won't tell you what powder and what grains I'm using, but it's with the TSS, it is 328 grains of TSS. It's 120 grains of steel. It's got 10 grains of buffer in it, and I'm having to put 1/4 inch of cork in it and 1/4 inch of felt in it to take up space because that TSS is so small. And this is in a 2 3/4 hole. This ain't a 3 inch, it's 2 3/4.
So that number 9 TSS, and you would not believe how many pellets is in a shell. Like, man, Keith's number 1 ounce load, there's like, I don't even remember. It's like close to 400 something pellets. I think it's like 300 something. I honestly, off the top of my head, I really don't remember. It's a massive amount of numbers.
1/4 ounce load has got, I can't remember if it's 274 or 276 pellets in just the TSS, 3/4 ounce load.
Well, maybe his number 9s are even more than that. Maybe it was the 7s that were 300. Anyway, you would be surprised. My shell that I'm working on is under an ounce. I think it's like 15/16 of an ounce. 15/16 of an ounce. I mean, it's almost an ounce. But in the shell, it's only that much pellets. But there's 90 TSS pellets. And 90 TSS pellets is sometimes almost the same amount that's in a steel load. But way faster, way more penetration. So that's what part of this duplex is. It's cutting it down.
It's saving on cost, and then it helps open up that. If you was to be shooting straight TSS, you'd be shooting a basketball.
Yeah.
Easy. Probably closer to 40 yards.
Oh. And that's what Jeff is saying, that, you know, hand loaded shells and know what you have every single time. I mean, them scoops, and if you don't know what scoops I'm talking about, somewhere in that series of my TSS, I interviewed the guy. It's on my YouTube live like 3 weeks ago. Him and his son is making the TSS scoops, and they're in my loading station. I can't hold them up. Dude, that cut my hand loading down enormous. I mean, y'all got to go watch that video. If you're a hand loader and you don't have these scoops, you basically dip it down in there and it counts so much faster than weighing it out. But that cut my reloading time down tremendously. But that TSS is no joke. So Jeff said he went with some triple curl number 8s, going to try on some Canadas. Jeff, the Canadas ain't going to have a chance. I got a video where I took the Salt Creek number 7s and number 8s with me out to Texas, and I was smashing speckle bellies at 70 yards with that TSS. I got a short somewhere, and I don't know if it came out this week or coming out. I got video scheduled, so it's hard to keep track of shorts, which are, you know, like less than a minute videos. And one of that short was when we were out in Texas. There was 2 speckle bellies landed in the decoys, and I mean, it was foggy that morning, and you couldn't see. They wasn't decoying. You could hear the specks. Them 2 specks landed in the decoys. No other birds were coming. The guy was yelling at the specks like, fly, fly. And they just wasn't having nothing to do with it. He's like, does anybody want to shoot them? I said, I got you, bro. In that video, I shot both specks with one TSS shot, and you go watch that short, and if you go back and watch the full video from my Texas trip, you'll see it in there too. But that spec, the second spec, cuts a backflip at both of them with one shell. Now, granted, I know they were out in the decoys, but my thing is, we've been out there all morning. I drove all the way out to Texas. Decoy or not, I ain't leaving here with nothing.
What was it?
It wasn't even a water swat, son. That was in a field. It was a peanut swap. I drove, what would that be, 3,000 miles? I think it was like 1,500 out there, 1,500 back. Yeah. Yeah. I was coming back with some meat. That's all it was. I'll water swat them too. And the people say I don't water swat, they ain't on camera. They'll water swat. Because you've been out there all day and you ain't seen nothing, and a hooded merganser flies in. Oh, I guarantee you're gonna water swat that.
Oh yeah.
Just that ain't nothing wrong with a ground pound, brother. Son, like I said, let me look real quick. I know it's a video, and see when it came out. It is a YouTube short, so there's a lot of times I know that a lot of people don't watch the shorts because they just kind of funny videos, and I get that. It came out 2 days. Nope, wrong one. Let's see. It has not came out yet, so I will post that video tomorrow. That video will be out tomorrow of the specs, and I can't post it on the live because YouTube Live and Facebook Live have rules. So y'all watch that video. It's a short tomorrow, And I don't know what movie it's from. The guy, he's like, man, I'm just different or something. I ain't going out of here empty-handed. That's how it was. I went all the way to Texas. I wasn't coming out empty-handed. And I honestly, when I shot, I was anticipating the first one, dropping and the second one flying, and I was going to get a second shot. Nah, there was no second shot. I mean, that TSS rocked them specs.
Yeah, it's something else.
And the bad part is they have a 2-spec limit. So I was done. I was done for the rest of the day, which it wasn't much longer than that. And we packed up and left. And I'm like, well, I got my limit. But yeah, definitely check that short out tomorrow. That TSS is something else. And I really want to do a video, but I really don't know how to do the video. Not in that respect. But I have ducks in the freezer that I train my dog with, like Mergansers, stuff like that, ones that get just hammered with shotgun shell. You're not going to eat them because there ain't nothing hardly left of the bird. I throw them in the freezer and I'll train the dog with them. And I was talking it over with Keith, and we were like, I really would like to see what that TSS would look like, but I want to record it, but I don't want, like some group that starts with a P come after me on a video of me shooting a dead duck. And then like, well, is that even legal with federal? I mean, that's a federal bird, but I mean, it was in the freezer. If you thaw it out, I don't know. I really would like to know. I want to know, is the TSS, will the TSS go completely through the whole bird, like completely through it?
I'm going to say probably.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Jeff said he was getting ready to go to bed. I appreciate you, Jeff, stopping in. But yes, I really think that TSS is a nonstop. I mean, like I said, you watch that video, that short tomorrow. Them birds, I'm talking about, there is that first bird, when you watch it, stone cold, lights out. The other one does a backflip, flops like 1 or 2 times, and out too. So I 100% wouldn't believe Steele would do it. And people are going to be like, well, Steele been doing it for a long time. That's true, but
there ain't a comparison with the two to me.
I don't think so either.
Now, inside of 30, 35 yards, yeah, I mean, it's still lethal as it can be. Yeah. But there's no.
And there's so many shells out on the market right now that's doing these duplexes. I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't seen one before for dove loads, but this year I seen my first dove load duplex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, is that where we're going? We're going to do duplex on everything? And I like the duplexes.
Carolina too, ain't it?
Yeah. Well, they used to be. Now the box says Canada, but
really?
Yeah. I'll send you a picture of it. But I don't know if they're duplexes, but some of them are. But I was shooting Boss before shooting Salt Creek. Boss makes a great bismuth too. That 3.5 is a deadly. I mean, you shot Boss plenty of times before too, up till you switching over and making your own. And that they've been making a 3.5 duplex forever. They mix their 3.5. It's not a stack load. It's a mixture. But I've been seeing a lot of people on reloading sites doing duplex steel TSS duplex. Now, is there more people doing it, or is Facebook and Instagram's algorithm changing to put more content in my face? I don't know the answer to that.
A little both.
It could be a little bit of both. And I really don't, I really don't know how it's going to perform yet. I know what it looks like on paper. And like we was telling Peter earlier, I don't know what that shell is going to do in 30-degree weathers.
I don't either, which was a concern me and you talked about when I first got my ballistic back with them, was one of my concerns.
And the only way that we can test it is to put it in the refrigerator. And I know you even went to the next extreme and put the gun in there.
No, so I hadn't even thought about that aspect of it until you said something about it one day, and I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I put the shells in the refrigerator overnight, and I took the gun apart and I laid it over the air conditioning vent, so it would get cold. And trust me, when I got out to go shoot it, it was cold. But
which makes a difference. The primer, there's different primers, have different heats, and then you got different powders, and they all play a piece of the puzzle. And I am by far nowhere near an expert loader. I kid with Keith all the time at Salt Creek. Just this weekend, he sent me something. He's like, hey, I'm working on this. And I'm like, hey, I just want you to know I still got all 10 fingers. So that is Keith's number one goal, is to make sure I keep all 10 fingers.
Yeah.
And as long as you load by a recipe, chances are you're pretty safe at reloading. Rick said bring some Salt Creek to Long Beach, Mark, for some black ducks. But he lives in New York, and they can't ship that stuff to him. Hey, you can order some of this triple curl right here, Rich. And I said Rick, but Rich, you can ship it to your brother's house, because I know you said you were coming right back down to the great state of South Carolina. Rich is from I'm pretty sure it's part of New Jersey. Now, which part of New Jersey up that way? I ain't never been that way. I only been through the state of New York once. So I know that state is so big, you probably could get lost a dozen times over. But he traveled down to the big state of South Carolina this past week and a half to take care of his brother. His brother was sick. But I mean, all I know was I was getting text messages, and he was like, look at this house in North Carolina. Look at this house here in the mountains. I mean, he might have had the itch to move to the Carolinas.
Yeah.
He says Long Island. That's what I thought, somewhere up that way. I know it's on the coast in the marsh. Great South Bay. I don't think he's going to give up that marsh yet, because he loves hunting and fishing. Now, in between me and Jay, down near Savannah and Tabby Island, that would be close to the marshes that you live in, Rich. Maybe next time you come to South Carolina, you take your wife down to Tabby Island. Beautiful down there. Me and Jay don't make enough to live on Tabby Island. No. We don't make enough to live on Tabby Island, and if me and Jay lived on Tabby Island, everybody know it.
Yeah,
they'd be like, them darn rednecks out there shooting on the marshes again.
They're shooting them.
Tabby Island is beautiful. The coastal of between Savannah and Georgia, beautiful country. They got some good eating down there too. But this weekend I have the video of your bismuth, and your bismuth is brain went dead. I want to say it's got buffer in it too, right? And buffer helps with pattern and keeping the pellets together too. So I mean, buffer does have a I don't want to say a benefit, but it is a key. It is a key to the puzzle. But buffer ain't always the cure either, because you can change one component. Just say go from a number 4 to a number 3, and that completely changes if buffer is needed, not needed. In one of my videos, probably last year, Keith sent me some what I call the old man shell, real light load bismuth, and I was testing non-buffered versus buffered, and it's a pretty good video to go watch. But buffer does make a difference. It absolutely makes a difference in the way it patterns. But that is an extra component, and that extra component comes with a cost. Yeah, it comes with a cost. You can have buffered, and then you can have non-buffer. Well, the non-buffer obviously is going to be cheaper, because that's one less component, and plus, if you're hand loading it, that's one less component of you not having to take time to put in there, measure it. And I have never messed with buffered. You were telling me last week what happened to you with the buffer.
It gets all over everything. When you go to put your scoops in your shells, you're going to have it stuck to your scoop. It's going the shell holder, it's going to get inside of it. It can be aggravating, and it is slick as glass.
Yes, and it's small too.
Tiny.
Yo, I wonder what it's made out of. Does your buffer say what it's?
Not really. The one that I use is, you've got several different ones you could choose from, but this is PSB buffer. Now, I think they've got a special mix 47. I don't have any yet. I hadn't really got into the differences of which one, but like I say, what I've got right now is it's just a PSB buffer.
I got you. And I have not. I don't even know. I mean, I've cut open many shells that had buffer, had flaxseed,
cereal.
Now that you brought up cereal, I may or may not have some shells that have Cheerios in them. I was using some Federal SSO something wads that were like the Top Gun wads that were Federal name brand wads, and I ran out, and I was trying to find some more, so I sent Keith a message and talking to him, and he was like, well, these are the replicas of them from Claybusters. Well, I get them in, and the first one that I put in, when I go to crimp it, it just like folds in there, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm using a mech. I mean, it ain't like I was measuring anything. I'm like, I know the powder didn't change. I know the pellets didn't change. So I get my micrometer out and I measure, and they're not the same. And I'm like, what the heck? I send him a message, and he's like, oh, I'll just drop a Cheerio in there, which I've heard of a Cheerio before. And it just crushes up and makes all the difference. I mean, and basically he said you can use a shot card also, and that's what you're using basically as a shot card to take up the difference. And it has zero effects on the pattern, because if you go and watch the videos, you'll see a little piece of paper, like a little piece of paper just fly in the air, and that's that shot card coming out. They got all kind of different ones. Now I do like some of these roll crimp shells. You know, they'll have at the top of their crimp cards, they'll be like turkey logos or duck logos, all this that, you know, all you gotta do is look at them. But that's some fancy stuff. Really fancy. But I have really enjoyed reloading and learning more about shotgun shells. Like I said, reloading may not be for everybody. I'm not saying, hey, go out and buy the reloader, you're going to save a lot of money. I can promise you, if you live in the neck of the woods that me and Jay live in, and there is nobody selling reloading supplies, you're probably not going to you're not going to save any money, because the shipping and handling is going to kill you, because they slap on a hazmat fee with powder. And I can promise you that hazmat fee, any money that you're going to save, the hazmat fee is going to kill you.
Whatever you shipping is it's automatic 25 on top of it all.
Automatic $25. Now, when I go to Cabela's, which is in the next town over, every time I go to Cabela's and I see one component that I have, they'll never have all the components in stock. But if I see one component, I'll pick it up and I'll put it in my stash. That saves the money. And it goes back to what Jeff says, you're using good quality stuff over and over and over again. But if you're thinking about getting into reloading to save money, right now is not your time. And with the tariffs on some of this new steel, and that's why I like to bring up with Keith like once a month when he comes on, like, well, how much is TSS going up this month? How much is this going up? I mean, it's crazy. But
yeah, it's high.
But if you're looking for good quality, find somebody that's selling some good shells and definitely buy it from them, and you know, buy it from somebody that's helping out the industry too. I'm not going to say the name brand stores don't make good shells. They do. They really do. I got a box of Rios right here in the floor, just in case I go diver hunting. They were running a special on them Rios. I couldn't hand load them for that price. So I'm not saying that I don't shoot steel, but now is the time, fellas. Teal season is like, I don't even know. Is it a week and a half away from us? Let's see.
The 14th.
Yeah. So today's the 4th. It opens the 14th. So 7, 8, 9 days away. I mean, it's already nighttime. So we're basically 8 days away from teal season. And I was looking at early teal. It comes in on the 14th, which is a weekend. And I'm like, man, I'm not going the first weekend, because typically in September in South Carolina, opening teal season, you're not shooting teal, you're still shooting mosquitoes. Hey, this morning I went outside. It was 60 degrees on my way to work this morning.
So wasn't it?
Oh my God. Dude, if I could live where I live and it was like that year round, oh man. I mean, it's unbelievable, especially the humidity. But they're talking about this cold front that's coming, that's just swooping in, and they're talking about, you know, what's coming. Teal season is 2.5 weeks. 1, 2, It's 2 weeks long. What is the 21st going to look like? What is the 28th going to look like with this cold front? Teal don't really like to be cold. I mean, I know we shoot them in cold season, but typically they're ready to go to Louisiana.
First ones are getting cold.
Right. They moving. So my key of, man, what I do now, and this weather change is really, really playing man, it's making me really question on what I want to do. I'm gonna pull this up in a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and log into it over here. So if I remember, it was like 2, maybe 3 months ago, I had a guy on live from 50ducks.com. And I'm going to pull that up on the screen here. I'm going to present it. If you're looking for something really cool, here we go. All right, I'm going to pull it up. 50, the number 50, ducks.com. It shows where birds are being tracked. There is a map, and it shows you where they are. And it's showing right here 18 days for a waterfowl live stream. So something must be going on for him to have that up there. I know that he was talking about having a app for your phone. I don't know if that's what it is, but let me log into here real quick. If you scroll in on these birds are already moving around, and the way where you just click on them and it tells you where they went, where they came from, and every point along the way it gives you information. Like all these little dots, every time you click on them, it gives you something, information about them, the height that they were in, what the temperature was. I mean, it's crazy the information that goes along with that. I thought I hit log in. I didn't log in. So let me log in if I remember which email address I used. I can't remember. We're either going to be right or wrong. Nope. It wasn't that one. Let's give it one more try. Maybe it was this one. But I had him on. It was an interesting podcast too. I'll keep whacking at it. I don't want to do a password reset because I know I got it saved on my other computer. And if I unsave it, then I'll totally forget.
Done that.
I have to write it down and put it on a sticky note, right? What not to do. But I know you were sick. Did you even get to go dove hunting?
No, ours haven't come in yet.
Y'all's having?
When y'all come in? Saturday. It comes in the 7th. It comes in the 7th. Early goose comes in the 7th, and then teal and bow season come in the following Saturday after that.
You gonna be doing any deer hunting?
I may go a couple of times, but I'm really not into it. I enjoy going, but I may go a couple of times, but I'm not really into it like I used to be.
I typically don't like to go early deer season because of the mosquitoes. And man, I think it was last year or the year before. I can't remember. I got ate up by red bugs. Oh my gosh. I know they say you got old timers that say put fingernail polish on them. A lot of old timers just say don't scratch it, and they, fingernail polish don't work. All I know was I was itching my whole back, my butt tops, back of my legs. It looked like I got shot with a paintball gun in a battlefield is what it looked like. I probably went through a half a ball of my wife's fingernail polish. I ain't gonna lie. And she was like, "You could have used anything other than pink. That's all I could find." And it was killing me. I mean, that's literally how it was. I mean, it was.
Worse than mosquitoes is red bugs. And if
Oh my gosh! I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened, and I didn't tuck my shirt tail in.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess when I leaned up, little booty crack hanging out, something like that, up against the tree stand, and they got in behind my shirt and then down in my underwear, and it was lights out. So, yeah, that's early deer season in South Carolina, but I don't know what it's going to be like this year. I mean, I'm sure the heat ain't over with yet.
No.
I am 100% sure somewhere because we're halfway through hurricane season. I'm pretty sure. I think we're halfway or very close to halfway. And if I'm not mistaken, I'll pull that up here too in a minute if I don't forget. I'm pretty sure they're tracking something now that could be potential rain for us.
Rain Friday.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that yet. I don't think the rain that we're going to get this weekend is coming from that tropical storm or hurricane. I think it's still too far off. Let's see.
It is. All
right, so I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to present this on the screen here. All right, so here are some of the tropical storms. Obviously, this one right here, that's probably going up towards nowhere. But these two right here is what's coming off of Africa now is what they're saying. Hey, you need to be, it may come into the Gulf of Mexico or it may stay on our side. I don't know what it may be, but me looking at that, one of them two is going to affect my teal season.
Probably.
And is that cold front going to do something? I mean, I don't know. It's very confusing. I don't know if I'm trying to prepare for teal season. Is the cold going to get me or is the hurricane going to get me? I don't know which one it's going to be, but definitely we need to keep
today and gone tomorrow. It's hard to tell about them anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And where I'm at, there is absolutely probably no teal. I'm sure somebody may get a chance to get one, but we're going to have to go probably to the coast. We're going to have to drive. But these two right here are definitely going to be something. I like weather. I like keeping my eyes on it. So that is definitely something I'm going to keep my eye on. But if you haven't prepared for a hurricane, now is a good time. Now is a good time to prepare for a hurricane. This is the way you can explain this to your wife. I need new flashlight, new headgear. Maybe maybe a thermocell just in case the power goes out. We got mosquitoes and a new shotgun
New rubber boots.
and rubber boots. You need to tell your wives that you need a new shotgun for hurricane season just in case the power goes out. You can go out there and hunt doves or opening teal just in case there's no power for y'all to eat. Use that as an excuse. If you sleep on the couch, don't blame me. I mean, I would use that excuse, but the white goose truck, I'm pretty sure is going to need a new transmission. It has in that filter that pretty shiny metal bass boat material. You know that bass boat, that flake that's in a bass boat? That's what the transmission fluid looks like.
It probably won't be long.
Nah, it wasn't. No, I went this weekend looking for some geese. I was out scouting, and when I pulled out, it free revved. I'm like, oh man, this thing's gonna leave me on the side of the road. Because you know when a transmission just free revs in an automatic, that's not a good sign. But I pulled over, I checked the fluid, crunk it back up, and drove it around all weekend. I'm like, man, I guess it's all right. Well, until the filter got cut open, and it looked like fairy godmother took some pixel dust and put it all in the filter and sprayed it all with metallic silver. So yeah. So it looks like the old white goose truck. If you see it, anybody ever sees it around town, yeah, it's gonna get a new transmission.
That's what it sounds like.
It does sound like it. So I was able to. I had to do a password reset on this thing. I couldn't guess what my password is. Duck 1 2 3 4 5 wasn't it? So let me allow it back. So now with this map here, I was looking at these birds. That Greensboro wasn't too far away. I forgot how to clear out. How do I clear out? How did he tell me to clear that map? Because down here, maybe I just refresh. That's not the correct way to do it, but that's the way I'm doing it. Let's see if I can fake the system. There we go. So down here, you have different birds. You have the whistling duck, the scaup, the widgeon, canvasback, the scooter, blue-winged teals, and these are basically filters. They go all the way across and then up in here. And then when you zoom in on them, there's all the birds. And then when you zoom in even more, there's 26 Canada geese there. There's 3 swans over here. Shreveport, there's a blue-winged teal. 4 blue-winged teals in Louisiana down here. The map's loading. It's kind of hard to load and upload all at the same time. But when you click on these birds, it shows you tracking of them. And that's where the reload map was. But one thing about it, you can watch these birds as they're migrating across, where they start, where they get to. That's an older bird there. So he uses new data and old data, but every day you can see these birds moving around. And
Nice.
obviously, like I showed you I showed you, but I showed everybody on their main page, there's a countdown. So I don't know what this live stream, what this is about. I'm sure if I looked on his social media at 50 Ducks, whatever, on Facebook and Instagram, it probably would explain that. But the other day when I checked, that wasn't there. So there you go. He got a free plug in tonight. But I've been watching some of them birds move around and migrate, especially with this cold front. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not smart enough to be a biologist. I can't even spell biologist. But I can pretend that I slept at a Motel 6 and I left the light on. I'm just kidding. I can't even get my ducks in a row. But most days, my ducks are everywhere. What my mama said today, she was like, if it wasn't for me, how would you get any of this done? I don't know, Mama. I honestly, I don't know. It's crazy. But, well, we've been on for an hour and a half. So this weekend, I got a video of your bismuth that I'm shooting, and it may or may not be the best pattern choke. So if I get a chance between now and probably Sunday, which it may not happen, but there may be 2 videos this weekend. I already got one, so Saturday's already a gimme. That one wasn't the greatest pattern, but sometimes you'll have that. And I said that at the 40 yards. I'm like, man, I wasn't really expecting that. I'm going to try a different choke.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just see how it goes. But like we said at the very beginning, your gun is totally different. You're shooting an inertia gun. I'm shooting a gas gun. The chokes are totally different.
I want to switch choke back out.
You know, we talked about it before. A mod back in the day when I was 18, many moons ago, somebody say, "Oh, just put a mod in your choke." Back then, mods were somewhat pretty equal.
Yeah.
Now a mod in a Browning is not a mod in a Beretta versus a Benelli. Ain't none of them mods the same. And I got plenty of videos of me, some of the cheaper chokes that come in your guns. They don't even measure the same. They're all mods and none of them measure the same. So they are not equal. So again, like Pat said way earlier, I'm not sure if Pat's still in here, but what works may not work for the next person. But it's basically me showing you, hey, this is what to expect. This is how the pattern. Saturday's video, you know, at 30 yards, it wasn't bad. There was a little hole, but if you were hunting geese, it wouldn't be a hole. If you were hunting wood ducks, yeah, it would be a hole because the hole was the size of my hand. But literally just going from a factory choke, let's just say a factory mod, to a kicks mod, 2 separate chokes, completely 2 different outcomes. So be on the lookout. You will see Jaybird's shells this weekend. He is not selling any shells. So unless you want to make a massive sale, how much would you sell a dozen $450?
At this point, I don't even know what the damage is.
That's what somebody asked me about that. My TSS. Well, how much is that costing you per round? Well, I really don't know because I bought some here. I bought a component there. I told the wife it cost this much, but I honestly, I don't know.
I know for a fact without even having to figure anything. I know I'm over $3 a shell.
Yeah.
How far over $3? I don't know. Probably don't want to know.
What I do is I usually turn on a football game or I turn on something on the TV, and it just just the repetitive. I mean, I really ain't got to think about it. I just repetitive motion. I can kind of zonk out of the world a little bit and reload, and that's the reason I like reloading. And plus, I'm using way better components than I can buy out of cheaper shoes. Right, and I'm not even talking like name brand shell, like top of the, like you got brand A, they got cheap shells, and then brand A's got top quality shells. I know what's in mine, and it's repetitive. So that's one reason why I reload. But like I was saying earlier, if you're not comfortable at reloading or you don't have the time, find somebody and get you some good quality shells. So, well, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, on the website, you can get you some t-shirts, some stickers, and hats or stuff like that. Is RD Reynolds Outdoors. Up under the description in the videos, you can order shirts from there. Just also a reminder, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock, you'll see me and my little dinghy. We'll be floating around on these podcasts. Definitely help share the word. I appreciate the people commenting and dropping in and out of today's conversation. Got a couple other lined up for this month, so you never know what we're going to talk about. But all I can say is go Gamecocks this weekend.
And you know I will say go Dogs.
I wanted to pull that up. When does Gamecocks play Georgia? I mean, I have to say Carolina does have a tough season this year.
It's SEC. You're gonna have a pretty rough schedule. Period.
I mean, Carolina's playing Kentucky this week. I mean, that's going to be pretty tough. Then it's LSU, and then it's a no-name team. That's the one. That's how South Carolina is. South Carolina's going to go out there and beat LSU, and then we're going to lose to Akron. What is that? Akron? I mean, where is Akron at? I mean, the Akron Zips. I mean, that's one of them. Where is it? Where is that? Hey, they're going to play Ohio State. See, Ohio State beat them 52-6. Yeah, that's what's going to happen to the Gamecocks, but it's going to be backwards. But that's just how it goes. And then it's Ole Miss, and then Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Wofford. They don't even play Georgia this year. Huh. Well,
I've got to buy this year.
Maybe. It don't matter. It don't matter, Jay. That one right there at the end. That's all that matters. That one. We can lose. Son, we can lose every single game. And if we beat Clemson at the end of the year, that is like national championship Super Bowl status.
That's like when Georgia plays Florida.
Well, anybody playing Florida State this year, I think it's got a pretty good odds.
Florida State.
I wonder what. Let me pull up Florida State. Let's see what their schedule looks like. Because, I mean, they went in ranked 10th.
Yeah.
They were ranked 10th. No, they were better than 10th, wasn't they? Well, because they opened up when Notre Dame, and then that wasn't a great one either. But so
season they were ranked 10th, I think.
So the 14th, so they must have a bye week. They're gonna play Mississippi and then California, and then Clemson's going to play them October the 5th. I mean, I'm not a Clemson fan by any means, but I don't foresee Clemson having a problem with that.
They're going to play Miami too, don't they?
Yeah, and then it's Duke, and then it's Miami. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Florida State.
Long year this year.
Yeah, they say they're ranked 17th in the ACC, but I don't know. It ain't looking good for them. So
there was a tough year.
I mean, there was a lot of games this past weekend that was like, you know, that took some turns that people wasn't really expecting. And I tell you, go ahead.
College football, though.
It is. And I tell you, watching professional football with the new kicks and the way they having to, you know, kick the ball to start with, that's I don't even know how you're going to do a sideline kick anymore. It's very, very interesting. I haven't seen any professional, which is just preseason. I think pros start tomorrow.
All right, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe. Let's see. And then Monday. Let's see who's playing this weekend. Let's see. I'll share my screen back. So tomorrow, week 1, the Ravens and the Chiefs, and then Friday, the Packers and the Eagles, and then the Panthers and the Saints. The Saints probably ought to beat the Panthers, and then again another one on Sunday, the Vikings and the Giants, Patriots and Bengals on Sunday, Steelers and Falcons on Sunday, and I'm pretty sure there's a game on Monday too. Here's Jason's Colts, Titans and the Bears, Jaguars and the Dolphins. Well, there's a bunch of games on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, and then there's one game on Monday, the Jets and the 49ers. So Sunday the 8th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 games playing Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be a busy Sunday.
Wow. That's crazy. Go out and support your local restaurants. Go watch a game. Just remember the people, and I ain't going to say go to the bar. Go to the sports bar or Applebee's or wherever. Go support these local places, pubs, whatever, because if you're struggling, hey, they struggling too. And that is the easiest way to help. Basically, what I was saying with these hand loaders and making shotgun, support these little companies, support these mom and pop restaurants. You know what I say? There was 13 games Sunday. You know, go get a hamburger. You know, that person trying to work that table, you know, help them out too, because if anybody's been to the grocery store lately, we all suffering together, and there's somebody probably way less fortunate that's having to work 2 or 3 jobs. So, you know, you and your fellas, buddies, whatever, go watch a football game down in the city and help some local people out. That's all I got to say. So, Jay, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, one of your videos is coming out, I know for sure Saturday. If I can get around to it before Sunday, I may make 2 videos, or what probably going to happen is Sunday's video is probably going to be Noah shooting his first dove. That's probably going to be it. And I probably have to move your next video your second video till next week. But it's been very
some pictures when I repattern everything when I get back to my original chokes. I'll try to get you some more.
That's always like what we're trying to do with these shotgunning, just let me make just one more modification. This is going good. Let me just make one little tweak, and that tweak don't work out for us. But hey, at least we're having fun, right? Are you having fun, Jay?
Yeah, I'm loving
it. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody watching, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday at 8:00. So, with that being said, here's a word from our sponsors. Matthew Knight with Satura Investors out of Charlotte. There's the information. The link to his website is scrolling across the banner down at the bottom, and it's also in the description. Today's episode is about helping business owners and working professionals like you who share a passion for the outdoors, shooting sports, zeroing them in to their long-term financial goals. So if you need any information or contact or any other questions, contact Matthew. Also, go check out Salt Creek Ammo. This triple curl TSS is some of the best TSS I have ever shot. This is for waterfowl edition. It's made for waterfowl. So if you're going to shoot a species that you've been chasing for a long time, don't use no cheap ammo. You pay good money to go on a trip. You got great guns. Don't cheap out on cheap ammunition. This TSS is amazing. It's got number 7s, number 8s, and he has number 9s. So go check out saltcreekammo.com. Here you will find any kind of ammo you're looking for. He has custom loads, TSS in 10 gauge, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, low pressure ammunition. You got Predator ammunition, turkey ammunition, anything you're looking for, give Keith a call. Also to the channel, Kicks Industries, most people will know them as Kick Chokes, has came on board, and I have done a bunch of series lately on waterfowl choke tubes, turkey choke tubes, deer choke tubes. So go check out Kick's website for all of the chokes that can fit your guns. Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC, has partnered up with the channel. It is your go-to provider for all your hauling needs. They are not just any hauling service. They are an active DOT interstate hotshot hauling provider. Flint Ridge Service, LLC, prides itself in its reliable transportation services. This team ensures that your cargo is delivered safely and on time no matter the distance. Whether you need to transport goods across the county or state line, they have the capacity and the expertise to meet your hauling needs. Equipped with a smooth riding 40-foot air ride equipped trailer and a max hauling capacity of 20,000 pounds, there's no load too big or too small that they can't handle. Look no further than Flint Ridge Hauling Service, LLC. We'll see y'all.